Welcome to Teeth with Cubes.
Today's topic is the stigma of childbirth. And that's why we have Miss Natasha here.
Right.
This is Natasha Foster here, who used to be a labor and delivery nurse. Last year, this lady posted an exchange that she had with a birth photographer. She had contacted this birth photographer about shooting her labor and delivery
Experience.
and then explained to the person that she's having a cesarean section. And the birth photographer, where is this thing? Basically, completely shut her down. Like, excuse me, I am a birth photographer, I'm not a surgery photographer. When you are ready to actually give birth, when you're actually ready
to start motherhood.
Yeah, when you're ready to start motherhood the right way, then you can contact me.
Something about
Because C-section, that is just, that is not real motherhood, that is not real delivery. You're just taking the easy way out.
Yeah, she said cutting corners.
Yeah, you're cutting corners, you're taking the easy way out. When you are ready to actually have a baby for real, you can contact me. Otherwise, I don't do surgical photography.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wow. So, Miss Natasha, so give us the medical terms of cesarean, vaginal delivery.
Well, a vaginal delivery is, of course, that's something most people do, but it's a delivery method that it's through the vaginal canal. Cesarean now is major surgery, and most times it's used for medical reasons or different things that may have occurred during the laboring process that warrants a C-section.
Okay.
And sometimes it's not something that is elective, it's something that is needed,
Right.
medically needed.
Right. Okay.
But you can have an elective.
You can have an elective
C-section.
C-section, you can.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, if someone said, let's say I get pregnant again, miraculously.
Let's see.
Let's say I get pregnant again, and I decide that, you know what, next time I want to have a C-section. It's not like the doctors have said you should do it or whatever. What would be the conversations that would be had, medical wise with the doctor?
Well, of course, they'll let you know that it is, again, a major surgery. And there are risks involved, bleeding, infection, there are things that some people, we won't want to just do surgery if it's not really necessary. Again, it's not that it can't be done. And a lot of times people want to have a C-section because of the fear of having the vaginal delivery. There's so much, sometimes people just have that fear that is so painful.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, see, that's a turn of events. I didn't actually
Some people
think
just
about
feel,
that.
you know what? It's less trauma to my body, it's less trauma to my vagina.
But it's really less trauma though, because it's major surgery.
Exactly, because they don't know the whole what's really happening with your body with the C-section. So, it's major. You're doing a lot of trauma to your body as well.
Yeah.
But it's not something that there are doctors who say, no, I'm not going to do an elective. There has to be reason behind doing it because of the risks that are there.
Yeah.
Because you can bleed. I mean, there are different things that can happen.
Right.
So you have to be spoken. What a C-section is has to be discussed. The risk have to be discussed. The reason why you want to do a C-section, and then, of course, depending on the discussion. Like if you said to me, if someone came to and said in our practice, hey, I was pregnant and at 38 weeks I had a vaginal delivery and after delivery it was still whatever, something of that nature. Of course,
Yeah.
an elective, I can understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the CDC says that 2 million babies in 2015 were vaginal, then over 1 million were cesarean, and then percentage-wise, 32% of all babies born in 2015 were done by cesarean. Okay. So it's looking at that more and more cesareans are happening versus the natural birth method.
Right.
Well, let me not say natural because all of it is natural. the vaginal method, right? And it seemed actually what you said just now is very surprising to me because from my standpoint, it's usually like the other way around, like the vaginal saying that the cesarean is the one too much. But now I'm hearing, see, this is what we don't know.
Yeah,
they got to tell them in the office.
Yeah,
the real deal.
Yeah, I never thought about this
Yeah,
of being so afraid of doing, that's a psychological reason for having an elective cesarean section.
Right.
But and I think one of the main reasons why we're trying to have this discussion now is that a lot of women, particularly Africans, or should I say Nigerians, me coming from Nigeria, so I know what a Nigerian woman faces. Nigerian women are shamed if, number one, they don't give birth vaginally. Number two, if they give birth, if they're using epidural or whatever. No, seriously. There's serious shame. In fact, the minute anybody finds out that you're pregnant, if you're a Christian, and this is not to say anything about Christians, we are all Christians here, but Nigerian Christians, sometimes you guys can do a little too much. The minute you find out that a woman is pregnant, you will give birth like the Hebrew woman. Okay.
What is the Hebrew woman?
Right. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
there's a lot of pressure. Yeah. And this is me, I have read my Bible too. I know you have read your Bible too. I think there's some kind of confusion. I'm not sure. Yeah. I think there's some kind of confusion. Because to me...
Oh, mommy's on.
Hey.
To me, the Hebrew woman example of giving birth, right? This is the background that I know from what I've read. Is, Pharaoh was trying to kill all newborn sons to the Israelites. But then they weren't killing off, the midwives were not killing off the children.
Right.
And when they asked them why they weren't killing these children, the midwives said, oh, the Hebrew women are very vigorous, and by the time we get there, they've already had the babies.
So
here's my question.
here's
my question.
Interpretation was
they could have been lying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Right. So
they could have been lying because they are not going to follow you to go and kill any children for no reason.
Right.
Once to be fair, God, I'm not going to go kill no children for you. So there's nothing to say for a fact that's how Hebrew women.
Okay, we're gonna read.
Let me read some comments. Yes. So Ronica, going back to the photographer. He or she could have just said they didn't want to shoot, which was my thinking as well. All that matters is the baby's being delivered. That's ignorance.
And that's her experience.
Ms. Binia quotes what we talked about in church today, which is true. Ronica also says C-section. I'll come to the Instagram. I'll come to the Instagram comments. C-section or vaginal birth, it's all risky business for women.
Period.
Because people die.
Period.
Yes.
Yeah.
People just need to be
simple.
educated.
Yes.
Nika says vaginal delivery for her was the most amazing experience. Labor can be long, but the delivery itself was quick. Yes, that's my sister-in-law.
Wait a minute, but I remember Nika's story.
Nika, don't worry. It's okay. Nika, we'll use it as an example today. Don't worry.
Story. Oh my God.
Oh no, Nika, your story is coming. I shall be telling your story.
Kat says, my gyno says, giving birth like a Hebrew woman means you and your baby comes out
of the favor room.
What is the favor room?
Please, what is the what did she tell you the favor room?
Hold on, the comment says, because I started laughing, the Hebrew woman means you and your baby comes out of the favor room.
That you come out alive and healthy. That is fine. If that was it, I would think yes, no problem, good, no problem. That's what we all.
I think that's not putting emphasis on the whole. You cannot have any C-section or any medicine or anything like that.
Yeah, because you see, what happens is, what about the person who wants to do a vaginal birth, and something along the line changes, and then they have to do a C-section?
Right.
How are they felt as they feel less of a woman because of that?
Yeah,
it's not fair to them.
Some do. We actually posted there was a blurb of an article that someone wrote. for her first child, she had to have a C-section. And she said she felt so defeated. She felt so less than a woman. She felt so disappointed in herself. She could not stop crying because she's like, I did not really give birth to my child because it was a C-section. I wasn't really involved in the process, blah, 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 blah. You know, and I'm like, you have a child that is healthy. You are healthy. Why do you feel less than?
But I will
Because
tell
of
you,
what has been said.
my personal experience. Okay, so Kiki knows this, but my personal experience, like, I didn't put pressure on myself, but I was saying to myself, you know, I'm just gonna. No, but I didn't put pressure on myself.
I'm just
But,
smiling.
yeah, but I said no, I did not. But I was saying to myself, no, I said to myself, I'm gonna try it. Baby, vaginal without any
medicine.
Yeah, I did say I went in there saying that, not because anybody else. I was just like, you know what? If I don't have to, that was it. If I don't have to,
I went in the same way.
yeah.
I
So
actually did
now
too.
my experience, like you're saying, the baby went into because my hips became. This is what they explained to me, that they became gridlock.
Yes.
And I could not. The baby was not going to come out.
Right.
But because there was so much pressure,
yeah.
and the contractions were pushing them
And you were
closer,
very tense.
and I was tense. So the lady said to me, she said, your baby's in distress. If you don't take this epidural right now, we're taking you into the C-section.
Because your body needs to relax.
Right. I was like, go ahead. And let me, in all actuality, in that moment, and I felt like I had failed. I will not lie about that. Even though I didn't have any pressure, I just felt like, oh my God, this goal, I didn't meet it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that there are people who...
Well, you know, I think that goal comes from, they're not pressuring you directly, but the goal comes from your society.
I guess.
It comes from your society because it's like, don't you remember a friend of ours, who we shall not mention, his wife had their children at home. It was a home birth, you know, and everything. And the very first thing he comes to come and tell us, yes, my wife is a real woman. She gave birth to our baby at home. We were water birth or whatever. There was no pain medication or nada. She's a real woman. She's a real woman. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
So
no,
anybody that has a child without
hold a baby and conceive and go through the whole process, I don't care what you say, they're a real woman.
Yes.
Regardless of how it's delivered.
Womanhood has nothing to do with how you give birth. Now,
No.
womanhood, I'm sorry, I had to say this too. Womanhood has nothing to do with whether you have children or not.
Okay.
I must say that.
More Facebook comments. My mom actually says
This is
that
a lively
my
topic
grandma
today.
cried when she had her first years. Now, facts, all of us, all my siblings and I, we are 4 of us, we were actually all born via CS. She said operation is not in our family. Wow. That she will be blamed for bringing me up wrong. Oh wow, that's deep.
Wow.
Oh, mama.
But you see, these traditional ideologies
Yes.
of what
Yeah.
women should do,
Then,
you know?
what else do we have? Nike, my labor was so quick. I told you I
We
will
know that.
tell your
We
story.
know that.
Yours is coming.
Veronica says, how a baby is delivered should not be an issue.
Yeah.
A family should be glad that the baby came out alive and well.
Right.
Yes.
Now,
and that
and that's
the mother is alive and
Yeah,
well too.
I see, and that's the thing because, like, for me, a lot of people don't really know my story. One person, like, actually, everybody all here, including Natasha, she knows my story. I was in the hospital. Okay, no, let me take it back. When I got pregnant, I was one of those that I was hoping I'll be a fly pregnant woman. My mother can testify to that.
I cannot testify.
And exactly, I was really hoping I'll be one of those. You know, but then unfortunately, along the line, I started having complications very early, from 16 weeks of pregnancy, and it put me in hospital from 17 weeks of pregnancy till actually when I had my first. Now during my stay in hospital, I mean we were still hoping that we'll go the the goal, yes, is just to have, like you said, have the baby, go the vaginal route. So I was already kind of like preparing myself, like, all right, I know I'm going to have this baby early anyways, so let's what all happens with vaginal birth. My mind didn't think of C-section at that point, right? And then my water broke at 27 weeks, right? 27 weeks, yeah. And Natasha actually was there in the room when they were trying to prep me for delivery at 27 weeks. But then miraculously, it's like things just things just shifted. So I was able to hold out longer till 33 weeks, and that's when my body went into labor. Now, Natasha too will even attest to this. I was actually in active labor. You know, we're already going the route of, all right, we're going to have, you know, vaginal birth, like normal pregnancy.
Right.
And then things changed. It really went south, for lack of better terms. I stopped dilating. My baby stopped coming down the birth canal. Because I'd lost my water, I was prone to infection. And then my doctor, and then at that point I was in labor for 11 hours. And my doctor came in and said, if in the next hour nothing has changed, you have to have an emergency C-section because this baby has been brought out. Guess what, guys? I was like, you know what? I'm game. Bring out my baby. I want my baby. You know,
Yes.
I'm like, I don't care how I deliver this child. Just bring my baby out. And truthfully, in the next hour,
He was out.
they came, no progress. I mean, in a matter of like this, people swarmed my room. There were doctors, nurses, everybody like, wheel her, prep her, do this, get into the operating room, you know. And by then, obviously, I'd had the epidural. I actually had to get 2 doses of epidural.
The first one didn't take long.
It did, but see, because I was already going through,
but not
not going to
heavy,
something heavier, exactly. And that's how, you know, I got wheeled into the OR, and then hey, they cut me open, and my child came out, you know. And it was at that point, you know, when I was in the recovery room, I think me and my mom were talking. I was like, honestly, what is the big deal with people not wanting to have C-sections? I'm like, the end game is your baby comes out. I'm like, my baby still came out. I still had a child, regardless of what method was being used. I still had a healthy baby. Premature born. He was very healthy. You know, and that is the end goal. And then when Nene
Tell the story.
when
Go ahead. Tell the story.
When Nene was in labor, see the patch forgot to tell you. And we have our director over there. Who, by the way, shout out to her. Her birthday's tomorrow. Hey. My dear friend over here, she actually did go in with a goal.
I did.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna lie about that.
Wait first. And her goal was she was going to do it pain-free. We were all in the room and we were like, you know what?
Pain-free as in supernatural.
Yes.
Not
Medication
like,
free.
as in
Medication free.
Not medication free. No, I said I didn't want epidural.
That's medication now.
No, now remember they gave me
They gave you, okay. Yes.
That the 3 dose not coming,
Yes, they
right?
did, yes.
Yeah. So I just said, and part of the reason why I didn't want epidural because I was like, this needle in my back. Hey,
And that's the fear.
adventure
Again,
that
fear.
thing will break in my spine. I was like, nah, can't do it. So that was part of it. I mean, it was twofold, but you know,
More of the fear of the needle is what kept you.
Yeah, and I remember I told her at one point that, you know, because I did see at one point after she had gotten the epidural and everything, she did start to look sad, and I saw it, and I told her, I said, look, Nene, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, she was crying. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
I wasn't crying like that.
Okay, don't lie.
Guys, and I think it was a mixture of
It's okay to cry.
Like,
Oh, it's okay to cry. But I remember I told you, I said, see, if they come in here and they tell you you can't go further and they need to cut you open, it's fine. And I repeated these words. So I said, Nene, you have not failed yourself.
That's right.
Because she did say, I feel like I'm a failure. And I'm like, but why?
because of epidural?
No. Because her goal,
Yes.
yes.
Oh.
Because you know how like you have a set amount of, let's say, even like set amount of labor time.
Yeah.
You want your baby to come out and all that.
People put
You know,
those goals
people don't
there.
just kind of
Expectations on
Yeah,
yourself.
expectations.
Yeah. Let me speak to that. Because while I was pregnant, people kept asking me what my birth plan was. I'm like, plan?
Yeah. You don't.
I don't have a birth plan.
Let me
Let
tell
me
you.
just have my child, period. I don't really care. When I go into labor, if I decide halfway through that I want epidural, fine. If I decide I don't want epidural, fine. If they decide that they need to do a serious cesarean section, fine. Whatever. I don't care. As long as I have my child at the end of the day. Nobody come and talk to me about, you know, because I have people telling me, oh, Hebrew woman. I say, thank you. You know, just don't. At the end of the day, I just need my child here. A child that I've been praying for the past 2 years. Then you now come and tell me that you should do it like this or you should do it like that. I'm sorry, you are not God.
So, Mr. Natasha, what
I had no I had no. I think that's why I was not to go for checkup. I had no birth plan. I went into labor the day after the night of my baby shower.
Yeah.
I came home from my baby shower at 8 o'clock. 2 a.m. I started having contractions. Then I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm at 35 weeks, whatever. And then 3 hours later, we had to start heading to the hospital. My water even broke in the hospital and I did not know. My mom was right there with me. She did not know my water broke. It was the nurse that came in at some point and was like, oh, your water broke. I was like, oh, really? How? When? How did it happen? Nobody knows.
That's right.
And then I think after about 12 hours of, having contractions, like, okay, you're still not dilating. We need to speed it up. Let's give you Pitocin. I took Pitocin. And then, things started happening. The contractions started coming closer and closer. At first, I was fine with the contractions. When it was 5 minutes apart, I can deal with it. 4 minutes apart, I can deal with it. 3 minutes apart, I can deal with it. By the time it was 2 minutes apart, I'm like, okay, the contractions are taking 1 minute, first of all. Then I'll now rest for 30 seconds and it starts again. Yeah, I don't think I want to deal with this pain. I said, you can bring the epidural. I don't like needles. I was afraid, but I'm like, bring the epidural, whatever, I'll be fine. They did the epidural, I was fine. Until later on, I had a panic attack. You guys should check out my blog or YouTube, whatever. I had a panic attack, But I had the epidural. Eventually, I had my baby. And for me, that was the goal.
Yes.
There was no birth plan. People talking about, oh, we want this music playing,
But we can't fault them.
No, you cannot. You cannot. I won't fault anybody for having it.
But just
I won't fault
Right.
Be
So,
open.
Natasha, the
Okay.
question is, okay, so since you've seen women come and go, right? So in the situation where we have those like Kiki's situation, emergency C-section, or my situation where it was like, if you stay longer, this baby's gonna go into distress. You gotta do it right now, or like her situation. So in that, being as a labor and delivery nurse, now what is your role when it comes to that mother? Like, what kind of things do you tell them?
Okay.
How do you not appease them, but how do you
you definitely give them
soften the
support.
blow? Because going from natural to cesarean is kind of like boom.
Yes.
So how do you soften that? How do you tell them, well, it's gonna be okay,
Okay, so coming from a natural experience and then having to turn to a cesarean, during that time, depending on the situation, because if the time is where it's emergent and we have to do things quickly, we are speaking to them at that time, but I know a lot of times they're not hearing because there's so much going on. And if in a case like that, I'll come back to them after everything is done and I'll explain everything, because sometimes you can't hear. It's like you're so much in a panic that you can't even hear what's being said. But if it's a calm situation and I'm able to talk with them, of course, we let them know that we're doing this to benefit you as well as the child. Right now, this has to be done because there's no other choice. We've tried the method, and I always say, we'll give it a fair try. If it's to be, we will make it happen. We'll do all our powers to make a vaginal delivery, but in the case that it can't happen, then we have to go that route. And before even we get there, I sit down and I talk to my patients, and I let them know, okay, in a time when we see distress in the fetus, if we see in the looking at the monitor and something goes wrong or so forth, there's failure to progression. If for whatever reason you reach a certain dilation and it doesn't go any further, there's a possibility. So before we even get there, I let them kind of know ahead of time, because this way you're not so much of a panic and upset. At least you have an idea that, okay, we are going to try everything in our power to make it what you want, but we cannot guarantee it. So in a sense, they kind of have an idea beforehand. And of course, if things happen, I let them know that yes, there'll be an influx of people coming in. Everybody's going to come to the aid. We're going to make sure that you're taken care of as well as the baby. We're going to have to get you prepared. We have to make sure that all things are done prior to the actual C-section, and give them all the information that is needed, because it's all about information. Education is what they need, and sometimes when you don't know, you assume people tell you things that you think, oh, it happened to so and so. Auntie Lulu told me this is gonna happen. No, it may not happen. It's not what happens to someone else may not happen to you. Your experience is totally different, and sometimes you may get something that is not the facts. So you have to be given that. So that you can go forward and understand that, okay, this is for the best for my child as well as for me.
Right. And then, speaking on C-sections and all of that, there's some ladies who, let's say their first birth or their first pregnancy turned out in a C-section, and when they got pregnant second time,
That doesn't mean that they have to have a C-section again.
exactly. They can go the VBAC route.
No,
Yeah, it doesn't mean that.
Does that mean that?
Some choose to have the C-section again.
Mm-hmm.
Some obviously want to pursue the VBAC, that's vaginal birth after cesarean.
Yes.
Now, some of them actually do end up having a VBAC, but there are still some that even when they're in the labor process, things change again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's always something like, you just have to it's kind of like you just need to keep on educating women of all ages, wherever it is you are, is still, if you're going down the VBAC route and things are turning the other direction from what you were hoping for, it's not the end of the world.
No.
If the doctors tell you, look, for the safety of your baby and for yourself,
Yes.
that they need to just go ahead again and recut you open, it is fine.
Okay, so how
again.
Sorry, I don't.
Because you have to remember there's
I have a question.
there.
No.
Mhm.
So tell us about elective cesarean.
Oh wait, you really had a VBAC? Did you just say you had one?
No.
Oh.
I did a vaginal, and then I had my first child was a vaginal, and then
And there's two in this section. Okay.
But I'm just letting you know there's scar tissue there. There's
Right.
things that you can't see, you don't know.
Right.
And there's probably a reason why it's not either descending or you have to know the full history. Did the first one, did you go through labor? Were you progressing? Was it that you did not? Did you ever go through that? So if your body immune itself wasn't able to do that, and who's to say you could do it again? So you just have to know the history of that person and what actually went on, why they had a C-section the first time.
Like for me as well, for my second one, I was already it was already a given. I was going to have C-section again especially because of how my first went. Like there was, I tell you, if you try to mention V to my OB, she'll be like, ain't no such thing.
I wouldn't want to go that.
Yes.
Because let me tell you something. At the end of the day, no one. I know you don't want to talk on this level, but no one's going to get sued for doing a C-section. They'll get sued if the baby doesn't come out alive.
That's right.
So if you don't make that judgment call, and you need to do that, they're going to say, well, why were you negligent? Why didn't you do that?
Right.
So this brings the point that doctors are under so much pressure too.
Yes.
Like the women are putting pressure on the doctors because if you're like me, I was like, no, I want to have this thing right now. And the midwife is like, girl, just get this epidural so you can relax. You're still going to deliver this baby, but just do it. You know what I mean? So there was pressure on her to make the decision of whether, because I'm sure 30 minutes more and it would have been like, let's cut this baby out. You know what I'm saying? So, like you're saying, so exactly. So talk to us about that. The pressure that we put as women from other places that we extend to nurses and doctors, because you guys have to talk them out of this stuff.
You know what? A lot of times too, at least coming from the African standpoint, it's not even the woman that's making the decision. A lot of times, the husbands are in the background saying, no, she cannot do this, no, she cannot do that.
I've seen that many times.
Our friend last year, she had a baby, she went to the hospital, and the nurses asked her, are you getting an epidural? Her mother said no. She didn't get to say anything. Her mom said no. And a lot of Nigerian husbands, at least, from what I've read, will come in and be like, no, my wife is not doing this, my wife is not doing that. I read someone wrote an article on Medium.
And I was just about to be like, tell us your experience.
Someone wrote an article on Medium about how, on this issue, exactly about the Hebrew woman and everything, how his friend just lost his wife while she was giving birth because the man's mother had told them that, I saw a prophecy that she's going to have surgery. If she does surgery, then she's going to die.
Right?
So no, since my mommy said that you're going to die from doing surgery, you cannot have a C-section. Well, guess what? She didn't have a C-section. She died. The baby died.
Oh no.
So Mr. Shinobu, that's Nigeria though, because in America they probably would have been like, bruh, it's over for you, get out. You know what I mean? The doctor would have probably been like, nah, get out. Because we're not losing this baby.
Exactly.
No, but what I'm saying, in America though, the doctors have to do what they can
medically
to
necessary.
save that. Medically necessary to save a life. That is actually the oath that they take. They have to. So in Nigeria, anything goes. But here, they finna do that. They'll be like, excuse me, exit left. We need to call security. Okay, so tell us about your experience about that.
There was a time when I had, a laboring mother, and she was not wanting to do the epidural at one point, and then she said, you know what, I think I have to get this epidural. And the husband said, no, you are not. So I said to the husband, you may not understand the pain she's going in, but let me squeeze your testicles for a while, so you can experience what she's feeling.
That's a good one.
Quickly, he switched that argument and said, yes, you can have an epidural. Because they have no clue.
Yeah.
You know, they have no clue.
That's a good one.
Oh God, I know. Okay, sorry. Going back to the whole breast plan and epidural. And okay, sorry. This is where I'm going to tell Nikki's story. So Nikki, my sister-in-law, her second child, she had almost sort of like a breast plan. Like, you know, we all knew that she was going to go into the hospital. You know, she would go into labor like a normal woman. You know. Lo and behold, Nikki went into labor at work.
Yeah.
Nikki's water broke at work.
She was
Nikki
at work.
Yes, yeah, because she wasn't ready. Like,
And she drove herself to the hospital.
no, someone drove her.
Someone
Someone drove her in her car to the hospital. She barely, when you say barely made
Because
it.
she said she got there.
She was in. They were really her into the hospital. Nikki is screaming, "She's coming!"
And the nurses were like, no, it's okay. No. And she was like, no.
The baby is coming. Now, this is someone who had wanted, you know, the whole pain. She was going to do the epidural, but my dear sister-in-law did not get the chance. Yeah, she didn't get the chance. Then now, for me, on the second one, I kind of like used to mess with my doctor a bit because I'm like, please, no, I want to try this thing again because it failed the first, I'm going to try it again. I know, and she always knew that I was one of her hard-headed patients, even because I used to give that woman, like, I love my doctor. And she used to tell me, she was like, look here, okay, just get your mind ready, we're going to have another C-section. I'm like, you know what, I'm fine with that. You know, but in mine, for the second one, the goal was to not have an early birth as I had the first one, right? But then, as the pregnancy started, okay, now, my first son was born at 5 pounds, so he was a teeny baby. So going through the pregnancy, I was already like, okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I remember like all of you were like, whoa, so shocked, you know.
That's a big baby.
Yeah. So I'm all like, all right, I had a 5 pound baby. My next child's probably going to be like 6 pounds. You know, you want to do C-section? That's fine. You know, I mean, my recovery was normal. My child.
Hi, Claire.
Now, hi, Claire. My child.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, Claire.
In utero.
Hi to everybody else that we didn't say hi
Was
to. Sorry.
now bigger than what we were all expecting. And at that point, my doctor was, you see this child's size in the ultrasound? There is no way you can even try to push her out. So at that point, I was like, she's probably not that big, maybe like what, 7, 10, whatever.
Yep.
The day of my cesarean, as they were trying, and I tell you, I'm not using the word trying like as a, just a word. They were literally trying to bring her out.
This is how I said that you felt the
incision for Dean was this small because he was a small kid with a small head. So they cut the same incision to bring out Kenzie. Her head was not coming through. Yeah, and they had to all I just knew because anyway, they came and they sliced me more, and it was a team effort because my doctor was pushing on one side, the other nurse was pushing on the other side. I mean, they literally pushed on my belly to bring her out. Look here, when they weighed my child, she weighed over 8. Was it? She was over 9 pounds. Yes. She was over 9 pounds.
Picture, she was wearing 3 months closer.
Yes. And my doctors and the nurses and all that in the OR, they were like, okay, because I had her, she was a late term baby. Late pre-term. What do you call those ones?
What is it? How many?
She was 36, 37 weeks.
So she was term.
She was term? Okay.
But early.
Early term, yes, that's what early term. They said that if I had actually tried to go the VBAC route, there was no way I would have done it because she was too big and my pelvic size is too small to push that kind of head through, And then my doctor was not trying to tell me. She was like, so and it's so funny because like me and her started having a conversation, you know, while she was teaching me back up, and she was like, you know, that there's some ladies who she has had to deal with. That actually there are some that she even passed on to other doctors because she told them you have to go C-section route, and they fought her, and they said no, that they had a C-section before, but you know they want to do a VBAC, and she tried to give them like reasons, not because she she was like, you know, yes, I get paid more to do a C-section, but right now it's not about pay, it's about what is good for you and what is good for the baby. So a lot of her patients that pushed back on her, she referred them back out. She was like, I can't do this because if you want to go with what you're thinking that's how is, you know, how you, just because of what you want, which is not the right way, I can't be your doctor.
Then she'll be liable.
Exactly.
If something goes wrong.
Exactly.
Okay, let's take some viewer comments in the next
Esther
about
said,
2
Esther
minutes.
said something about she had a.
She wanted a
wanted to-
VBAC.
She herself is a VBAC child.
Yeah.
Her mom had her via VBAC, and she wanted to have a VBAC for her second child, but wasn't able to.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she felt really sad.
She felt sad that she
about-
couldn't do. But
So, yeah.
I think
and
I can do a couple more comments, but then I want Miss Natasha to.
Hi, Amy.
And everything
Hi, Miss Shannon. Hi.
Hi guys.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Christy,
the
what's
end.
Christy saying?
Christy said, I was very blessed and I had the best experience with both my kids. I started contractions at night at home and went to the hospital about 6 a.m. for Kaylee, 11 for Mia. I had Kaylee and Mia, so they went. So her pregnancy is very long. Hi, Ugo. Ugo just joined.
Well, yeah, it's been an interesting. There was another comment about 19 hours.
19
Somebody
hours
in labor.
Yeah, they didn't take epidural or they waited. Yeah.
What,
So you know.
I want Miss Natasha, to speak to every woman woman who has had a child or is going to have a child or whatever, and if someone is being shamed, you know, because she had a C-section or because, you know, she didn't do it all natural and, you know, she had to take medicine or whatever. I want you to speak to those women who are feeling bad about themselves that they weren't able to give birth vaginally or that they weren't able to do it without pain medication. Speak to that woman and, you know, encourage her.
Well, honestly, at the end of the day, the main thing you have to remember is that you have now a beautiful and a healthy baby.
That's right.
Regardless of whatever way of delivery you had, there's no reason to feel any, you know, less than or feel as if you didn't do what you wanted to do. But at the end of the day, you have a healthy child. That's the main thing. And you should not beat down on yourself because of it. Because sometimes you have no control. We have, a lot of times, there's no control. We're not the one who is making the decision. It's the man above. You know,
That's right.
he's
That
the
is
one
true. That's
who's
true.
in control.
That
So we
is
may
true.
want one way, but that way is not meant for us at that particular time, and maybe the next time you can. But at the same time, the main thing is the child is healthy.
Yeah.
You're healthy, and you have a child to look at and adore.
Mm-hmm.
Rather that outcome, you know,
Right.
be
Right.
blessed and be thankful that you're able to.
Yeah.
So do what the doctor said.
Yes.
And there's no award for
Let me tell you,
having
there's
a-
absolutely no award
award.
if you don't
I'm
take the
sorry.
epidural, if you do take the epidural, because at the end, I look at it like this. This, when you do get the epidural, you're able to relax, you're able to enjoy the experience, and you're able to push the baby. When you do not have the epidural, you are exhausted.
You are, yeah.
I'm not saying not to try it natural. I tried it, and I went as far as 8 centimeters. And let me tell you, I mean, during the time when I had my oldest, the anesthesiologist wasn't even in-house. I was bold and said, go home, I don't need you. Hey, at 8 centimeters, I was like, where is she? I need her now. And let me tell you, it was the best thing ever. Because I was like, was I crazy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was an experience.
I had a panic attack from the epidural 3 hours after the epidural, only because my mind could not.
Just the feeling.
Yeah, like I could not move. I wasn't in control of my body, and my mind
You know
just
that
could not
epidural
take
needs
it.
shakes.
But you know,
Okay, no, it gives you the
Like,
shakes.
it
We got
doesn't.
the shakes.
Yeah, epidural gives you the shakes.
I
at the
told
end
you
of
to
the
take
day.
her because I was
Me,
going to
I'm
drop
like,
her.
whatever.
I told you, I was like,
I'm still gonna
hey,
get
this
this job.
baby because I'm going to drop her right
Well, it's just so
But,
funny because like we all have like our, you know, the way we all have our children differently. You went vaginal with all that. You went vaginal, all that. You went vaginal and C-section, I went both C-section.
And I know that guess what? We are all mothers.
So everybody
we all have
has
children.
has
and
it.
that's
Yes.
Well, the tea we were drinking today is vanilla chai.
It was
And
very
it
good.
was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Actually,
it
I'm
was
finished.
good.
Like a little bit left.
Yeah.
I don't like vanilla, so I didn't drink mine.
Oh,
She doesn't know what
no,
she's missing.
sorry. Yeah. All right.
Well,
Well,
thank you guys for watching.
thank you. It was
Thank
so
you, Natasha.
great.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Natasha.
Natasha, for coming.
oh my God, all these comments. Thank you guys.
And
And
this is
we
the most
will.
engaged we've had for our
Yeah, we
Yes.
will reply them. We didn't online. We will go continue the conversation. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part and sipping
With someone
with
you
us
love.
today.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell your
All
friends
right.
to watch the replays on Facebook and also on YouTube. We
Yep.
post everything on YouTube, okay? So make
Yeah.
sure you check out our YouTube.
And also
See
tell
us.
your friends to like and follow us.
At Tea with Cubes.
2 weeks. Oh, we have a guest next week too.
2 weeks, not next
2
week.
weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
All right.
And one more for the culture.
Hey.
Have a sip with someone you love. People should drink palm wine. Drink palm wine.
Oh,
that was good.
Oh, wait, it ends automatically. We don't
Yeah,
even have
yeah,
to touch it.
Oh, like that one.
Sorry. Well, we're done. I quit. Next time on Tea with Cubes, we are discussing
The complete woman. Who is the complete woman? What does she look like? What does she do? What does she drive? Does she drive?
Well, join us on Facebook Live and Instagram Live March 4th at 4 p.m.
Which is 10 p.m. Nigerian time.
And always remember,
Sip
Sip with someone you love.